It feels like there's never an ideal time to go for couples therapy. Many people don't want to go before there are challenges because they're worried that if they all of a sudden bring up different things and they learn about all their challenges, that will lead to a negative spin on their couple relationship. Other people don't want to go when the relationship has kind of hit rock bottom and there's all these challenges and they feel overwhelmed by feelings of fear and anger and resentment, and they think, why should I bother going? Because if I can't fix this, who the heck is going to be able to help me with this? Perhaps the least obvious time to go for couples therapy is when you've already decided to get divorced. And what happens there is tensions are high, feelings are raw. You don't even want to be in the same space as your partner in your own home, let alone in the intimate space of a couples therapist. So you're thinking, why should I bother? The truth is, there are reasons to go for couples therapy, in my opinion, at each of those times. I think it's great to go for couples therapy before you're in a relationship, when you're just getting into a relationship, and as challenges arise, and certainly at the end of a relationship as well. And here are the reasons I'm going to focus on today for why couples therapy is for you if you've already decided to get divorced. First of all, you really want to clarify whether it is that you want to get divorced, why it is that you're getting divorced. Lots of times divorce is one-sided, where one person wants in, one person wants out, and you really need to get on the same page and really decide which way you're going to go. You can't keep on living in this space where one is in and one is out, because both of you feel like losers if you stay in that kind of space. You also really want to gain more awareness about what it is that each of you contributed to the breakdown of the relationship. Lots of times people would like to think that it's just their partner's fault or that they married the wrong person. And really what happens is that each of you did various things that would have, maybe you might have been triggered by various things, and you would have each reacted in a way that would have caused the breakdown of the relationship. It's never one side. And you really want to understand what it is that happened, because as much as it might be nice to just think that you married the wrong one, it's a better idea to really see what it is that happened so that you could stop yourself from recreating that same sort of process in the next relationship. And I've seen that happen a bundle of times in my office. And if I could help prevent that from happening, that would be really awesome. You really want to make sure that if you have decided to get divorced, that you've explored every option that you could to keep your marriage together, because you don't want to live life with regrets. You don't want to say, oh, if only I did this and if only I did that. So couples therapy can really help you to come to terms with your decision. The other thing is you want to be able to really be clear in terms of moving forward. You want to be able to understand the history of what happened so you can make sure you don't create that history again in the next relationship that you create. If you do choose to go ahead with divorce, couples therapy can be really helpful when you're dealing with your divorce attorney, because lots of times people mistake their divorce attorney for a couples therapist, and they spend a bundle of money in the divorce attorney's office going back and forth, dealing with their feelings, dealing with all these sorts of things that the divorce attorney isn't actually qualified to deal with, and he's charging you a lot more money than I am. And the easiest thing for them is if you are really clear about what it is that you want, what conclusions you've come to, so that they could just fill in the paperwork, do what needs to be done, and Shalom Yisrael. And you really want to make sure that the process is as smooth as possible. So the more that you're clear and you're on the same page as one another as much as you possibly can be, and the more that you really know what it is that you want in terms of how the divorce is going to go ahead, the smoother the process will be, the less painful it will be. If you have kids, you want to be able to go to couples therapy because you want to be able to talk about how you are going to share this information with your children. You want to be able to learn how to be there, be supportive of your children and their feelings. And if you haven't dealt with your own feelings, it's going to be triply hard to deal with the difficult feelings that will come up for your children. There's so many difficult feelings that come up: grief and anger and sadness, and the kid and your children will be feeling all over the place with all different sorts of emotions. And you want to be able to sort of put a lid on your emotions as much as possible, or contain your emotions, I should say, as much as possible, so you can be as supportive as you can be for yourself and your own children. And you also want to make sure that even though you've decided to get divorced, that doesn't mean that it has to be bad. It could be an amicable divorce, and you want it to be as amicable as possible, especially if children are involved. So the more that you do some sort of couples work beforehand, the more that you could sort of reduce some of your feelings of frustration and anxiety and all those sorts of things, the better able you'll be to work together as a divorced couple so you could support your children. And you really want to be able to model good, healthy relationships for your children and enable them to be able to make good, responsible decisions going forward. And by being able to model these really healthy behaviors, you'll be able to educate your children for the future. So these are just some of the reasons that you might want to go to couples therapy if you've already decided to get divorced. If you'd like more information about couples therapy, you could check out my website, MickiLavinPell.co.il.